the guillotine is a defense against an attempted tackle, a very low attempted tackle towards your knees. The word itself, guillotine, is going to suggest the front headlock that we put the opponent in to prevent his movement. I'm going to present two options. One is, the first option will be where you sprawl and you really try to keep your lower body away and you successfully collapse the opponent onto the ground, and I'll show you some ways you can follow up. The other option will be if you're not so successful and he manages to take you down, you'll still maintain your headlock and you'll try to put him in your guard. So let's slowly here, we'll take a look at the first one. So the opponent's charging in and you're trying to hold him off. You're trying to do like thrusting knee or striking serpent sage. You're trying to hold him off, but as he reaches for your legs, he goes real low. And so reach a little lower if you don't mind towards my legs. And so my right hand is tucking on the inside by his ear and forming a front headlock, just like locking horns, except I would be like in the position of the bad guy. And so Chris is fighting here for my legs, and I'm sprawling. I'm keeping my legs out away from him, and I'm using my body weight here to press him to the ground. Now we did that nice and gentle here. In reality, you could, if we started on that side of the room, we might end up on the other side of the room. Thank you. Let's do it from another angle here, so you can see how my arm is getting there. So, if he tackles me high, tackle me high again, like for a bear hug, he'd be fighting up here like we were in all the previous techniques. Reset. In this case, though, maybe he's really making a low dive for my knees. And so I'm trying to hold him off, but instead I shoot and I hug. And now here I just put my body weight on top of him until he rustles to the floor. Let's do that one last time. Hopefully your knees aren't hurting too bad. I'm going to start off camera a little bit so you can see how the whole thing will sort of progress. Ready? So something a bit like that. And you can stay here and choke him a little bit. He'll probably rustle you for a while. You might not get a clear choke. But when you feel it's safe, you can put your hands on his shoulders. You can spring up into, in this case, a left close kneel. You could use a right close kneel. In either case, you're dropping a knee, either one, to the back of his head. And you can do a downward looping roundhouse kick, if you like, or any other stomp before you cover out. So the main idea is that front headlock and the idea of sprawling. Thank you. Not letting him get your legs. Suppose now, though, that things don't go as well as planned. And you try to sprawl, but he catches behind your knees. Well, you're going to end up on your back, and you're going to try to put him in your guard. So let's see what that might look like. Nice and easy here. So I'm shooting for this. I'm trying to sprawl, but he starts pulling my legs up, and we fall. Yeah, nice and easy here. You've got your legs crossed. Let's scoot back just a little bit. We'll stay on our knees, though. I think I'm out of frame. There we go. That's better. So here we are in the headlock. If you can take your left hand and go under his elbow by his bicep here and grab your own wrist, you can try to choke him. Chris has got his chest, though, pretty tight on mine, so I really can't get much of a choke. But you can maybe crank on his neck a little bit, or at least hold him here, until you think of something else. He might fight back, though. If I let this hand get underneath, he might come over the top and start pressing into my neck. So you might try to check this off and maybe work some other sort of choke. If you're familiar with the triangle choke, we'll look at those later. Maybe you leave this hand on top. You won't be able to get as strong a choke, but you can at least check this arm and try to think maybe you go a scissor sweep or a knee push. Maybe I can shrimp out from here. Sorry, did I need him in the head? I need him in the head. Sorry. Maybe I can do a knee push from here and try to roll him over as best I can. Didn't check that arm too well. I'm beating Chris up. Sorry about that. So you're in the guard. And think of all the other options you have. Sorry, it's okay. Crush that hand. I'd like to present one more angle, one more perspective here for the guillotine, so you can have a clearer view of what I'm doing really with both of my hands. So the opponent was attempting a tackle here. Let's just do it slowly. Won't really rustle to the ground. So he's rushing in. If he's diving really low for my feet, so you can see here my right hand is reaching around and just hugging his head and choking him with my forearm. Let's scoot back a little bit here so we don't bump the camera. And as he would begin to scoop up my legs, I'm trying to sprawl, but things don't work out too well. And I end up falling, putting him in my guard. I'm going to rotate a little bit. So here's the part I wanted you to see. This hand, if you feel like his right hand's a threat, you can simply hug it and just keep him in this formation. Try to press his chin towards his chest, or sink your radius, the blade of your forearm, into his throat. Chris is doing a good job of tucking his chin, so I can't do that. But this is the position you find yourself. And like I mentioned, from here you can work towards a scissor sweep or a knee push. The other thing I suggested you might consider would be to take this right hand and go underneath, under his bicep here, and sort of fish around for your wrist, so you can really cinch the choke up around his neck. But what does that do? That gives him his right hand free. So Chris, go ahead and attack me. Yeah, he's going to start gouging my eyes or hitting me in the head, or yeah, something to get his head free. So just things to consider. But I just wanted to give you a clearer view of the position I'm in. Thank you. So there you have it for the guillotine.